What's up, guys? The Snowman here, and we're finally closing in on the European Championships, my favorite sporting event in the world, right next to the FIFA World Cup. We've had to wait an extra year for Euro 2020 because of the global pandemic, but I'm hoping that the next month of football will more than make up for that long wait. Today I wanted to preview and kind of give some big picture predictions for this tournament as a whole. I'm going to go through each of the 6 groups and show you how I see things shaking out. Also going to show you my knockout bracket as well and give you my champions. Let's dive in. This is the way I envision Group A panning out. Just a reminder, Euro 2021 is a 24-team competition. We've got 6 different groups with 4 teams each, and the best 16 teams advance to the knockout stage, so 2 or 3 nations from each group will move on. But these are my Group A predictions. I have the score lines on the right and the standings to the left. Group A has the makings of a very entertaining and balanced group. I've got the Italians as my winner. They're the solid favorite. Italy plays mostly possession-based football under Roberto Mancini, always very compact and tactically sound at the back. Marco Verratti will run the show in the midfield. Turkey's one of my dark horses for the entire event. Can't wait to watch them. They recently defeated the Dutch in World Cup qualifying. The aging star Burak Yilmaz with a hat trick there. Seems like the Turks play very free-flowing football loaded with individual talent. Switzerland, always a consistent force at these major tournaments, cranking out round of 16 appearances at the past 3 major finals dating back to Brazil 2014. And we know Gareth Bale and the Welsh are capable of deep runs like their magical semi-final ride at Euro 2016. I've got Italy, Turkey, and the Swiss advancing from Group A. Group B, I'm not getting too crazy with the predictions yet. By the way, if you want more in-depth group analysis, please check out my group previews that I did individually leading up to the Euros, but Group B is the one I'm most confident in regarding my winner. I don't see any way in which Belgium doesn't finish on top. I've got them claiming a maximum 9 points with 3 wins. One slight injury scare for the Belgians. Their talented playmaker Kevin De Bruyne suffered a facial fracture playing for Man City in the Champions League final last week, so he's doubtful for Belgium's opener against Russia, but hopefully KDB should recover in time to still play a major role at this event. Otherwise, Belgium is the cream of the crop. That roster loaded up and down with world-class talent, and they have the big tournament experience to finally live up to expectations. Christian Eriksen and Denmark, my runners-up in Group B. Sadly, I've got both Finland and Russia getting bounced in the group stage. On paper, Group C might look like perhaps the weakest group, but that opening match between the Netherlands and Ukraine should be a ton of fun. The injury note in this group, unfortunately, the Dutch will be without one of the best defenders in the world, Virgil van Dijk. He's still recovering from a torn ACL this season, and that might create more space and opportunities for a Ukrainian attack that contains multiple creative players like Andrei Yarmolenko on the wing. I do think it'll be the Netherlands and Ukraine coming out of Group C. No luck for David Alaba and Austria in my predictions. The Austrians haven't won a game at a major finals in over 3 decades since defeating the US at the 1990 World Cup. And I've got North Macedonia in 4th place, although if you love a good Cinderella story, keep an eye on the North Macedonians. A couple of months ago, they shocked the world by beating Germany on the road 2-1 in a World Cup qualifier. Just Germany's 3rd ever loss in World Cup qualies in the nation's history. Home field advantage might play a factor in Group D. If you didn't know, we have 11 cities all over Europe as joint hosts at these Euros, and one of those host cities is London, where the English national team will play all 3 of their group stage games. And right off the bat, we'll get a rematch of the 2018 World Cup semifinals, England versus Croatia. I think the fact that it will be at Wembley gives the English a huge boost. I don't see Croatia as quite as strong a side as they were 3 summers ago. Without Rakitic, without Mandzukic, they lost a couple of key guys. The Czech Republic will come in with confidence. They inflicted England with their first Euro or World Cup qualifying loss in 43 matches back in October 2019. I've got the Czechs advancing to the knockout round as a 3rd place squad. Steve Clark and Scotland should be excited to be at their first major final since the 1998 World Cup in France. They too will get a chance to show off in front of some home fans. Moving on to Group E, and I didn't want to go chalk with all of my predictions. Had to get a little bit crazy with one group, and this is the group for me. Spain is the heavy favorite to win Group E, but I say that Poland sweeps the competition with 3 wins out of 3. They've got the unstoppable Robert Lewandowski spearheading the attack. Lewandowski recently breaking the single-season Bundesliga goal-scoring record that Gerd Müller set almost 50 years ago. The Polish superstar with 41 goals in league play this year. Lewandowski has never scored at a World Cup, though, only 2 career goals at the Euros. I think he finally has his moment on the big stage. Spain will be without their all-time leader in caps, Sergio Ramos. Manager Luis Enrique deeming Ramos not fit enough after an injury-ravaged season. Spain shockingly bringing 0 players from Real Madrid to these finals. That's a first. And no Ibrahimovic for Sweden either, but they've still got a quality team. I see everyone but Slovakia moving on here. Finally, we have the Group of Death, truly a fitting name for Group F, where we find 3 of the 4 semi-finalists from Euro 2016. Germany, France, and Portugal have combined to win the last 3 major tournaments. We know France won the 2018 World Cup, Portugal, of course, at Euro 2016, and then Germany back in 2014 at the World Cup. These are iconic heavyweights, world superpowers going head-to-head. France versus Germany in Munich on match day 1 should be tremendous. The French getting a huge boost with striker Karim Benzema returning to the national team for the first time in over 5 years. And in my opinion, he completes a squad that's stacked in every other area on the pitch. I do have Germany finishing ahead of France, though, in Group F, as legendary Jogi Löw coaches in his swan song major tournament for Germany. Portugal is going to be right there, too. Cristiano Ronaldo starring in his record 5th European Championships. That's the most of all time, with João Felix, Bernardo Silva, Ruben Diaz. This Portuguese team might be more talented than the team we saw triumph at the last Euro, so that's scary for opponents. And I've got all 3 of these big dogs advancing. Poor Hungary, a solid side themselves, but in this group, they've got no chance. Let's move on to the knockout stage. 16 teams will move on, and this is where the fun gets kicked up a notch. Top left, I have Group B winners Belgium taking care of business against Sweden. Romelu Lukaku has the second best odds to be the Golden Boot winner at this event. I like his chances coming off a 30-goal season with Inter. Italy, too strong for Ukraine. The Italians unbeaten in their last 26 games. That last defeat coming at the hands of Portugal in the UEFA Nations League back in 2018. Germany's had a couple of puzzling results recently, but I like how they've got a handful of the old guard still in their squad. Toni Kroos, Thomas Müller, Mats Hummels, of course, Manuel Neuer in net. So Germany over Switzerland. Could be a fun one in Copenhagen between Croatia and Spain, 2 nations I have as group runners up. I trust Croatia's midfield just a little bit more in that game. Top right then, I've got Poland getting back to the quarterfinals after a 1-0 victory over the Czech Republic. Probably the game of the tournament, England versus France in London. This is why it might not be great for England if they win their group. That would mean they play the second place team from Group F, and I have that as the French. And France, again, the most complete team at the Euros. They defeat England in an epic penalty shootout, much to the dismay of the Wembley faithful. Portugal versus Netherlands could be another classic. They just met in the 2019 UEFA Nations League final, but without Van Dijk in the back, I see the Portuguese carving up that back line and finding too many holes. And then perhaps my surprise of the tournament, I have Turkey. Yes, Turkey beating Denmark and making it to the quarters. So many exciting players that I believe can recapture some of that magic from Euro 2008 for Turkey. Into the quarterfinals then, Belgium and Italy should be a tight one, but the Belgians have slightly more flexibility and options in the attacking third, so they move on to the semis. Again, my only concern with Belgium is the facial injury with De Bruyne. Germany versus Croatia will pit 2 longtime teammates against one another. The engines in the Madrid midfield, Toni Kroos against Luka Modric. However, I see another midi stealing the show and catalyzing the Germans to success in Joshua Kimmich. France and Poland, time for France to exert their dominance, and N'Golo Kante and crew will put up a stranglehold on the Lewandowski show in a blowout win for Les Bleus. And out in Baku, fans will be treated to a delight as Portugal outlasts and overcomes their Turkish adversaries in extra time. That sets up a rematch of the Euro 2016 final, France versus Portugal. My other semi, Belgium versus Germany. Of course, it's so difficult to predict, and most of my prophecies will probably fall apart, but I do feel confident that these are the 4 best teams at Euro 2020, and they each have unique reasons to win it all. Belgium won't get too many more opportunities with this golden generation, so they've got to capitalize this summer. Germany's going to want to send off their legendary manager on top and make up for the embarrassment at Russia 2018. France is going for the international double and a chance to avenge their European failure on home soil 5 years ago. And then Portugal seeking to become the second country ever to repeat as Euro champions. Their Iberian neighbors Spain doing so in 2008 and 2012. Overall, I see Belgium and France advancing to the final. The Belgians have too much pace for Germany, and France is too balanced for Portugal to contend with this time around, setting up a dream final of Belgium and France, the two best teams in the world, in my opinion. We've got incredible star power. Lloris versus Courtois, Mbappe and Griezmann against Hazard, De Bruyne, and then Benzema versus Lukaku up front. And I think Belgium finally has their moment. They've been steadily building something special with manager Roberto Martinez the last few years. Third place at the World Cup 3 years ago. Give me Belgium to be the Euro 2020 title winners. And please let me know who you think will win the Euros this summer. Leave a comment. Tell me what you agree with or disagree with regarding my predictions. If you want more Euro content, please check out my individual group previews. I've also got some Copa America predictions on the way on the Snowman Sports Media, so should be a very fun summer of football. But thanks a lot for watching. Cheers.